Hey guys, welcome to the fourth episode of The Metal Intent, the show where we get behind the intent of our favorite musicians and try to learn what we can from them to start our own music journeys or to take even different paths. So, fourth episode, a very, very special one. This is my first ever conversation with Nik Nocturnal. How are you doing, dude?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. It's going to be exciting to finally chat.
Absolutely, no problem. And it's cool because we share our audience. I would say we share almost like at least from 80% of my audience is in your channel as well, which is very natural because of the covers.
Right.
And that's super cool. We've always been associated. And I remember the first time I saw a Nik Nocturnal video, actually, which was when I dropped my cover of AWOL, which was the first Monuments track of the other album. And I was like searching my own video. And it's like, someone else did a cover of this. And it was Nik. Of course it was. And it was cool because I understood, okay, so here's someone else doing what I'm doing, which is covering these songs very fresh out of labels from all of our favorite artists. And that's kind of cool, man. I mean, you've always done covers as a means to an end, though, right? If I understand.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I started doing covers 2014, 2015, I think around there. And originally I started it literally to just get original music out there because I just liked writing stuff. And I was like, well, you know, and I also saw people like Killer Buckeye and a few other dudes doing covers at that time, like the OGs, basically.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let's try it. You know, it looks fun. And I already basically do that. Like I just learned songs. So why not just put it on the interwebs?
I relate to that a lot because I used to also do these covers of songs and try to get the drums and try to get the bass. And I was exactly like you. I was like, what do I have but to gain if I put this on the internet?
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, well, let's throw it up there. Why not? And people seem to kind of like it here and there. And it was fun. And the only time I saw like, oh, this is like something was essentially a covered, I think it was After the Burial. I think it might have been a different song, but I definitely remember After the Burial, Lost in the Static. And I covered that poorly, might I add, but I covered it super fast same day. And people were like, dude, like you did this so fast in the comments. And I was like, what do you mean? Like I just covered it, right? Like I didn't have any like, but to compare that to, because like it's not like I had a bunch of guitar friends or anything that I knew like, oh, like that's actually something, learning something that fast, you know? So people were like, dude, yeah, it's so fucking fast. And of course that video blew up more than the other ones. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna try that again, I guess, you know? So whatever song came out next, I don't remember. I tried the same thing and same thing. Damn, dude, that was fast. What the hell? Right. Like, you know, and again, views wise, it did better. So I kind of just kept doing that basically. And it was something fun. And I basically only did that, I think, for 3 to 4 years. Like that is it. I don't even think I spoke in one of my videos until 3 years after it was just covers. That's literally it. Yeah.
I see. I do relate because I have found very recently that you're probably on the track to something cool if when you do it, your friends go like, how did you do that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's always that moment, like, how did you cover it that fast? Or to me, people will go, how did you figure out all the layers? And you're like, this might be it for me.
Dude, yeah, because you do like everything. I never did everything because I didn't even know how to at that time, right? I knew guitar and like, I knew how to kind of program drums because of just writing and stuff. But in terms of dissecting it and even the bass and all that. So I was like, fuck this. And I just did guitar basically. And that's because I was a guitarist and I just went with it. And it did super well for a long time. The only big issue with all that, of course, is if you don't recreate the instrumental, and even sometimes if you do recreate the instrumental, copyright, super fun. My friendly neighborhood copyright. Of course, so doing that for 3, 4, 5 years with just the guitar track on the original, basically much louder. I think 900 out of my like 1,300 videos are copyright.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's like for literally the first 3, 4 years of doing this, like I made probably like $50.
Yeah. You were going to get into the ad money at zero. Sorry.
Yeah. Which I never cared about in any way, right? I did it for fun anyways. But now looking back and realize that I'm like, wow, I have this whole collage of shit if I actually could monetize all of this, it would be dumb. Like I'd actually like I could it's so that's OnlyFans money right there.
Yeah,
basically.
good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's insane, but you know, it's what created my channel to where it is, and then doing it for so long. You know, I always saw other guitarists and cover dudes doing it. I remember it would be like at 500 subs, and then someone would be like at 1,000, be like, damn, that's so cool. And then they do the cover. And then it's so weird just when you're in it, like 2 months later, you're like, oh, where did they go? You know, it's like what happened to the other person? Like it seems like a lot of the people that get into covers, at least during my kind of journey of all that, would get into it. You know, sometimes they would only do one, sometimes they do it for like a year. You know, and it was kind of like a friendly competition in terms of seeing what other people are doing, and it kind of like kept me on my toes, which I liked.
Yeah.
Because which perfectly showed as soon as everyone basically died off, I was like, no one's doing this anyways. Right. It's not as like fun. Basically, it was kind of just like, oh, I'm just doing it to do it because I'm the last kind of man standing in that sense. And then yeah, after a while, you came along. I see, and I was like, who is this dude that actually does everything? And actually, it sounds super dope and has angles and stuff. And I'm like, God damn it! Now I have to actually like do this properly.
No, man, sorry and thank you. But yeah, I mean, cool. I'm like I said before we were starting. I'm very happy that you appreciate, and even more that it can get you to like think how you can even up your content. Just the same way that you inspire me in how can I up the quantity of my content. I always see that as one of your big strengths. You're as a constant grind in terms of very much quantity. You get like, you can do one video a day. I think that's insane.
Yeah. I think, and I'd have to go back and like really check every week, but I'm pretty sure since I actually started like properly, I never didn't upload for a week, which is dumb. Like that's stupid. Like I should have a normal human, life.
I mean, but you don't know. Some people operate at different speeds. I mean, people associate us with speed, which is funny. Yeah. And
well, that was the thing. Like I always I did the covers always before in one take because I literally didn't know how to edit, and because I didn't know how to edit, I had
to do it in one go, man.
Yeah, I had to do it in one go, which also made it so I could do it faster, I guess, overall.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, if there was a little bit of noise here, a string noise, it's like, it was the one go. Like, this is, what do you want, right? Like, I tried to just make it human, which also, again, made me slack on the actual editing side, which was kind of nice. But, you know, after so long of doing that and then seeing other people kind of do it, and people just kind of want, you know, now, like, the new cover thing is not like it's not as exciting anymore, obviously, because it's been dead for so long, but it's still like, oh, hype. So that's why now it's more that quality takes in, which is where like you fucking dominate. Like you have everything done and it's quality.
Thank
you. That's where it was like, even for me, I was like, okay, you know, like I have to like actually make sure that these are absolutely right on. This is clean, you know, make it so max. I used to always do the one take until I realized no one fucking cared I did it in one take after like 4 years. Because no one even asks, no one even assumes. Everyone assumes you edit it anyways. So I'm like, you know what?
That is true.
Yeah. I'm like, all right. If, you know, I'm not gaining anything from putting more stress basically on myself to get that perfect one take. So now I'll still max only like 3-4 kind of, and I'll cut it. And I started cutting it by doing the zoom ins to my face, which I'm sure some people realize that's actually my transition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my transition, but I don't have like multiple angles or anything still that I mess around with. So I just have the one angle. But if I'm like, okay, like I made like this I hit an extra string. It's like, fuck's sake, you know, like I'm just going to go a little earlier, cut it. And it's like, if I mess up right away, obviously, I'm not going to do like 5 seconds at a time, 5 seconds, because that's actually even more work than just doing it properly.
Right.
You know, so actually to save myself work, I always go for the one hit. And if I can't, like if I'm like, fuck, I messed up like right at the end, then I'll do a cut in and you'll see my zoomed in face, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I always used to just do the one takes until like basically you and Robin kind of came back and started doing your things. I was like, fuck this, you know, I'm just gonna like, I need to up my quality in some way. So at least I'll make it so the audio is like crystal clean and there's no stupid little mistakes that will like bother me. And even just as I did it for so long, I became a bit more perfectionist-ish with like the audio, right? Like I didn't want to mess it up. Like I want it to be like clean, no doubt. Like if you soloed the guitar, you hear exactly what you want to hear. There's no like, it's not hidden in the mix really. It's not,
Good.
you know, none of that. So yeah, but yeah, dude, I did that for a long ass time. Like
You sure did. Yeah, man.
yeah.
And it also proves the point that you, when it comes to stepping up your content and the quality and the quantity and going into new adventures and new types of content, that you don't need to go where somebody else has gone, which it leads us to you really, in my view, honing in on your original music, which has always been your main intent and one of your strengths, in my opinion. And we do get to Termina, which has Dysphoria out April 9th, which will be a week past from when you'll watch this episode. And I approve. I very much like I very much like the new Termina album.
Thank you.
And what to say? Because there is so much. If anything, how's the first week been going? I'm curious.
Oh, dude, it's been crazy. I mean, just in general, I mean, doing all like fun podcasts and stuff is cool, but like actually seeing it come out, you know, these songs that we've had for way too long, and seeing people's response in general, like just their comments and what they think, was so nice to hear. I was so happy about that. Like people seem to like it. It's not like the singles were good and the rest of it's garbage. It's like people are saying, you know, like, wow, like these other songs that aren't even in the singles, like those are actually, I prefer those.
Oh,
and I'm like,
I love Eras of the Past. I could tell you that.
Yeah.
For example.
Exactly. A lot of people like the chill songs more. And I'm like, really? Like,
it's interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm loving seeing that, and that there's not like one exact thing out of all of it that everyone's like, this is the only, you know, this is all the only part of it I want to listen to. You know, some people still have their preferences, but it's like, seems the majority are like, no, like the whole package is actually pretty fun. And even though some is literally deathcore is in deathcore, and the others are like basically like Deftones rock, chill ballads, it's like, it's still kind of, people will appreciate kind of both sides and really like it. So I've been loving just that, and just even stream wise, like it's doing way better than I thought. I think we're almost at like 2 million streams on the album.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks. So no, yeah, it's doing awesome. And you know, I'm really stoked because, well, I'm glad people seem to like it so far, but anything we get for the album, it just goes into Termina 2, right? Like that's why. So like the better Termina 1 does, the better Termina 2 can be.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm stoked to see it doing that well so far, because that gives high hopes of like Termina 2. We can get maybe someone to properly mix it, or like a session drummer, and you know, things like that, which again, for Termina 1, our budget was literally $500 each.
Yeah.
And then it kind of kept feeding in, right? We'd get the DistroKid, the Spotify streams, and then we'd use that for the music video. And then we do that same thing. We use this for the music video. So yeah, it would be fun to actually have a budget for Termina.
Imagine a budget, right?
Yeah.
That's something that, I mean, zero budget. The thing with bands these days, bands will be starting on zero budget. Yeah. And they'll be making what they can. Like even my band, Fifth Empire, we get ourselves to a field and we have our handy cam, and that's what we got. Let's make something out of it.
Yeah.
So it's very nice to hear you with a business model for actual Terminal 1, where you get the streams and income from the single went into a video, and that went to the other video, and now this is going to Termina 2. It's very refreshing to hear it as a business model, because it gives you a sense of where it can go.
Oh yeah, we have to. I mean, we do it because we love it no matter what.
Of
like
course.
Me and Andy, but like it's like it's the same thing. It's like you can love your business, you know, and not want it to be, you know, go under, right? It's like the same thing. Like we want to actually for people to hear the music, right?
Yeah.
We can't do that if we don't think of it in a business mindset as well, right? And like releasing singles and making sure it kind of recoups itself, because otherwise no one's going to hear the album. And
Absolutely,
we're super lucky even with the videos. Like we had our dude Patrick Lawler who did the 3 videos. Yeah. And the first one was Alex, who's a buddy of mine who's in Toronto, but the other one was Patrick. I think he's in like LA or California. And literally The Abyss, Desolate Spectre, and The Edge of Time was filmed on our iPhones in front of white walls while Andy was in America and I'm here in Toronto in Canada.
Yeah.
Like it's been crazy.
It's great what you can do with modern technology and just really wanting to get it done. Every single episode we've come to that being a musician in 2021, we have so many good resources.
Yeah. A lot.
It is a blessing. As much as there is bad stuff, there is so much accessibility of resources compared to literally 5 and 10 years ago. It's insane.
I mean, something as simple as like we can make an album in our room, you know, like what?
You did?
Like
you did?
Yeah, like that's ridiculous. And that's like something normal nowadays, right? That people can just produce a whole album in their room, have an Axe effects, and they're good to go, bro. And that's it.
Literally. It is very cool, man. So one of the reasons I am happy that the podcast is actually after the album launch is not only because we get to talk about how it's doing, but a lot of artists, if you agree with me, they focus a lot on pre-launch hype. And they're like hyping it up and here we go. And that is smart as can be. That's how you should be. And then the sustain, like the post-launch, they kind of like like let it slide. And so I think it's very interesting that we get to chat after the album comes out, and you even get a podcast and a piece of content after it comes out, get people to keep thinking about it. I think that is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no, that's super important, and that's something, I mean, we're going to try to do, but again, it's like the next budget. Like we're not going to do a music video for like a song again off the album. Like it's straight into Termina 2, even though we'd like to have that opportunity, we can't. It doesn't make sense. So max, I'll probably like podcasts here and there, and like honestly like guitar playthroughs of just like some tracks that people want, you know, things like that, as well as every time I'm on stream saying check out the new Termina album and ruining people's lives.
No, but that's what I was gonna say. Every single stream that you do is post content for the album, because it's just there, and people like you, people will check out your music, and and we take it for granted as content creators that now every time I do a piece of content, I have this new thing to promote. But there's a lot of musicians out there that can learn from this that are not necessarily even content creators, is that everything that you share is an excuse for you to share your main passion and your main intent why you're doing this, your music. Every single thing that you share after you launch a piece of music, you get to promote your piece of music.
Oh yeah, I literally the intro and outro to all of my YouTube videos is Termina.
Yes, it is. And you said that now, and even I had taken that for granted. Every single person that clicks a Nik Nocturnal video doesn't do it without listening to Termina.
Doesn't happen. You have to. You're forced for the first 6 seconds while you see my 2 endorsements that I've had literally forever. And my logo, and with like some weird different hue effects every time there's a new track that comes out. You're forced to hear it. That's it.
Yeah. And I think that is a great way to think about it as musicians. How can you force the people that you know to hear it? Yeah. Literally. Because it's not that difficult. If you have a few friends on Facebook, you're going to post on Facebook. Your friends have to hear it. If you have a few followers on Instagram, you are going to post it on Instagram because they have to hear it. You have to think literally, where do you have any audience? And you got to start there. Because we started by just putting it online. And I don't know if you were like me. I asked my mom to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You did. You must have.
I don't know, because I think I probably didn't tell my mom because I didn't want her to see like the
I'm on the internet.
Yeah, probably that. But she definitely knows now of all the dumb shit I do. But yeah, dude. I mean, you gotta get what you gotta get, you know, to start out and start that grind. Like the hardest part is the start. Yeah. And it does get, you know, easier and easier as long as you're consistent and always trying to improve yourself. And that's something I always see YouTubers do and that's why I think a lot of them quit like after a month or like a year. Yeah. Is sometimes they will see success or they won't, and no matter what, they just keep kind of hammering at the same thing that maybe got them that one video that did a little bit better, and then realize that the rest of them are not doing as good, and then they just, well, that's it, you know, it's very discouraging instead of being like, well, how do I, you know, improve on myself? How do I do better. And that's how I had to literally evolve my content. Because if I only did covers to this day, there's no way. I probably actually would have
Burnt yourself
quit.
out.
Yeah, definitely. By now.
I can imagine that, because we've seen Nik do covers. We've seen Nik do the Monday memes. Shout out to the Monday meme series. We've seen Nik do the riff compilation series, for example, which was very sick. And now we have Nik doing a lot of reaction videos. And it's cool because none of those, and this is what's important because this is the metal intent, none of these were your end goal. They were all a means to an end where your intent is literally TERMINA, Nik Nocturnal, all your original music.
Yeah, I mean, when it started as that, and then I think as I started doing covers, like I weirdly grew to love YouTube in such a weird, in like a way I didn't expect. Like, I never thought I was going to be. Well, I never thought I was going to be a musician in general because I thought I was supposed to be an accountant actually.
Oh,
funny enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you study accounting?
Yeah, dude, I got a degree and then I was halfway through university. And it's essentially it's like you go for commerce, like business.
Yeah.
But you have like a specialization, and that's the actual important thing because other than that, you just have a fucking business degree. Like, what does that do? Like, it's tough to do something with that. Yeah. So I was going for accounting, and halfway through my journey, I got kicked out of my accounting program because my grades fucking sucked in accounting.
Okay.
And I basically was like, well, what the fuck do I do now? And I noticed that day that the guidance counselor essentially brought me in and was like, dude, like, you're bad at this. Like, you're bad at accounting phase. And the thing is, Architects Doomsday just came out that day. And this is always a fun story I tell people. And I knew that when I was sitting there talking to the dude, and he was telling me literally, like, basically my career choice was not going to happen. And all I could think about was going home and covering the new Architects song. I was like, okay, so I think I kind of know, like, this is not for me, and I need to go, like, maybe do something with music because, like, there's something wrong with me. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, you always see it as wrong, and then, like, now 4 years later, you see it as very right.
Yeah, exactly. So I just went with that, and then I still finished the bachelor's, just like started it. Why not just finish it? So I have that piece of paper I can wipe my ass with one day or something. I don't know.
I feel the same.
It's a very expensive piece of toilet paper for me. But hey, if I ever need to quit YouTube, I can still get maybe a job in marketing or something, which is cool. Right. That's dope. But yeah, essentially I just did that, finished that, and I was like, all right, well, what am I going to fucking do with my life? I have a YouTube channel that I've been building for fun. You know, I originally started because I wanted to promote original music, and then I just kind of ended up really liking doing it. And I kind of just went all out. I was like, all right, let's see what I can do, and if this is really it, like, let's do it properly. You know, no messing around. Like, I want to actually do this and give it my all. And ever since that day, I basically never looked back, and I started expanding into different types of content just for fun, seeing if it would work to kind of spark the creative mind. Well, of course, you know, my original music being what I want to, like, help promote it with, but it kind of transformed into its own thing at that time. It was like, no, I want to be a YouTuber. Like, I want to do this because I like making content, not so much so as a means to an end for promotion at that point. Cool. I just kind of got sucked in, and it was fun, and I kept going and starting different series like reactions or meme videos and stuff. And, you know, even to this day, starting new dumb things to make it so the internet is plagued by my face in their little recommended feed, unfortunately. Of course,
to see what sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. That's cool. I relate to that in the sense that when I started, I didn't really have the goal, and I don't even have it yet, of like original music. But it was like, let's do the covers for the sake of covers. Like, I enjoy them. And then I'll see what the end goal for this is. Because I am fairly certain that this will build, I didn't know the size at the time, but this will build any audience, I felt like. Because people are searching these songs, and they will find me. That's probably what you thought too.
Yeah, the SEO is, I mean, you type in the band name,
we'll be there.
The cover will come up. It'll be there.
We'll literally be there. What I thought, it would show me some kind of end goal. And then it happens this thing that I relate to what you said, which is you just start to like the process, and you're like, oh, interesting. Maybe the end goal is to make the videos actually. Yeah. Like, do the videos for the sake of the videos. You start enjoying it. You start seeing it as your routine. And I think it's cool for some someone in the audience listening to think about that, where they're like, I don't want to go do videos, or I don't want to go do pictures for Instagram, or I just want to do the music. And it's like, try those things, because you might not even know yet, but taking pictures, like taking really nice pictures, might be your thing. And then you add your music to your photography and you start an entirely different thing than what you thought it was. Or you really get into making videos. Or one thing that happened to me, instead of like just making the music, you really get into mixing the music. You really get into production. You should not be afraid to try, just because you don't see it as immediately making music. That's something I learned.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. And I mean, like, I guess going to university, even getting that degree did help me with some business stuff. So I'll always be thankful of that.
Yeah.
You can definitely still do a lot of cool things with a bachelor's, even though I was just like, well, what am I going to do now? I got kicked out of accounting. That's my only thing. But even that, like marketing, learning how to do sponsored videos, like these are all, or learning how to edit a video, right?
Yeah.
Like that's something you kind of learn along the way because of necessity, and then you end up maybe liking it or not, and it just opens up different creative outlets that's like, oh, this is new and kind of different, and you just add it to your repertoire, and then all of a sudden you can do all these things, and maybe you just started simply as just a guitarist, right? And it's like, wow, well, that's different.
Yeah. It's cool, man. It's very, very awesome. So we touched on this briefly earlier, and I am curious about it because you've been, so you said 2015.
2015 or 14. Yeah, that was my first, that's still public, I think, cover that I tried to do. But I think I tried covers like even 2 years before that, but I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, that's okay. We've been, so 2014 to 2021. So we're talking 6-7 years. Yeah. And you've had, if we're still talking about original music, you have had many facets. You've had Nik Nocturnal original music under your name. You've had now TERMINA with Andy. You've even had an acoustic EP, which I remember.
Yes. Is
there maybe even one that I'm not aware of? There even might be.
Yeah, so even just, I've, like in terms of release stuff under Nik Nocturnal, there was just like my first full album, which wasn't anything special, that was released.
Yeah.
And then there was 2 little EPs, one that had vocalists on it, and then there was the Infinite Void was like my, like, I'd say I really want to call that my first album, because at least I kind of knew what was happening during that. Yeah. And then I did the acoustic EP after, and that's it since then. So like 2017 basically with that. And then I've had like little singles here and there, but they didn't really go anywhere. Like I wasn't focusing on making a Nik Nocturnal album just yet. I was focused on doing TERMINA. But yeah, TERMINA, that, as well as a lot of other projects, some unannounced, but some announced, like doing Rectangles with Jared Alonji, which will be kind of
you were
fun.
in that?
Yeah, well now I am.
You are going to help with that. I remember those. Those are so funny.
Yeah, that's just gent meme core.
That's going to be so sick.
Yeah, and I'm in the Eye the Breather too. That was something super new.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Joining with them. But like not on like a super, like I literally, the first thing I told them was like, guys, I'm not touring. You know that, right? They're like, yeah. I'm like, all right. I'm cool with like writing. I like that. Writing's super fun, but I'm not touring or any of that. They're like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But that, and then as well as a few other unannounced kind of fun projects. But that's the main stuff. Like TERMINA is probably the most important, like original music thing
I see.
I have going.
What I was wondering is what different roles do those different facets of your music play in your life? What I mean is, what is the difference between, besides Andy and vocals, what is the difference between a Nik Nocturnal track and a TERMINA track? What do they do for you, actually?
Nik Nocturnal is more my outlet, and that where I kind of connect. I still have that connection where like I started writing when I was kind of a kid, and like it's more like guitar fancy, fun stuff. That kind of stuff where I can just get crazy, and it's more on that guitar fancy side is basically the best way I can describe it. Whereas TERMINA is like, I'm a composer, and that's kind of it. Like this isn't about me showing off with guitar. This is about making a good ass modern metal track that I know Andy's going to put vocals on. Whereas if I didn't know vocals were going to be put on it, then it basically would be like a Nik Nocturnal track, but But even that, like Andy does even help with the instrumental and stuff like that. So it's still distinct in that way where you really hear me kind of writing for him as well as you hear his probably influence on my writing instrumentally, whereas I don't have that when I'm doing like Nik Nocturnal solo stuff. So that's the big difference, I'd say.
I see. That's very interesting because we do know what the we're thinking even about rectangles, we do know what the djent stereotype is, where the guitarist writes with complete and utter disdain for the vocalist, and it's just guitar and vocal all at the same time, leads, layers, just make it all fit. So I understand that you will do something like that and have lots of fun playing a Nik Nocturnal track. And TERMINA is where you're going for a whole product, where you're always thinking about the sum of the parts instead of just the epic riffs.
Yes. Oh yeah, 100%. And I think as I get more comfortable with Andy, I start to kind of seep in a bit more
some
of like
epicness. Yeah.
a bit, even like solos and stuff. Yeah. Like I'll throw those in. Even like the last single we released the second last, I guess, The Edge of Time. That song has a lot of actually guitar work kind of underlying, but it's a lot like, unless you hear the instrumental on its own, you don't really hear like all the tapping and all like the weird shit I'm doing on the guitar, even during the chorus. But that was more me being comfortable with understanding, okay, this is like how far I can go with in terms of like inputting crazy shit, which it won't distract from Andy. And then I kind of like pushed that boundary a little bit more with that song, and it still fit Andy. And essentially, like I'll definitely creep it in more and more as we get comfortable with it. But there's obviously going to be some kind of cap where it's like, okay, no, this is now turning into just like me trying to do stupid guitar shit everywhere, where there's no point of that. I'll just go write a Nik Knock album if I want to do that, right? So, yeah.
I see. Cool. It's very cool to have that distinction, because people can just have different outlets for different styles of their own artistic venture. I think that's very cool. Honestly, it's just like categories of content.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting. I would like to ask you about streaming, which seems to be one of your latest and most fun ventures. I'd adventure to say that you're having the most fun streaming.
Oh yeah, well, especially when it was like newer, because it's like it's just a different thing. It's people are there right then. You get to talk with people, and you have a different environment, and you can try different content. I really think as like when I'm streaming on Twitch, like this is different. Like it's similar, but it's a different outlet in a way of doing fun kind of stuff. And sometimes I overlap them. Like I'll sometimes stream something on Twitch, whether it be like, I learn any riffs chat gives me within 5 minutes, or like I give subs basically to them, things like that. And that was really fun on Twitch. And I thought, well, conceptually that actually translates really nicely to a YouTube video. It's a little bit abstract, but I basically threw that on my YouTube, and it did great when I was on Twitch, and it also did great on YouTube. And I was like, wow, that's kind of like a cool
double dip
correlation. Yeah, double dip correlate. Because I mean, that's what streamers do, like actual streamers. They just put Twitch clips on YouTube, and then yeah, that's basically it, right? So that was me kind of doing that. And that was like, it was fun, even though I definitely still want to make sure like my YouTube is it's still my YouTube, and it's not just like my Twitch clips channel. I want to keep that somewhat distinction, but I'll definitely kind of, if I think something's really cool that we did on Twitch, like I'll throw it on there, and I'll be like, that makes sense in terms of even like the normal YouTube content I would do. The only difference is I was doing this with people watching, kind of. So yeah, no, it's super fun, different outlet, and it's just a cool adventure where you can try different shit. Because even myself, like I get bored of doing the same thing a lot. Like I get very sick of it, which even sometimes to a bad extent, where it's like, I'll do a bunch of covers, and I'm like, I never want to do this. Like I'll take such a long break of doing covers, or even doing a lot of reactions. I'll be like, I don't want to do these anymore, and then I'll take such a break, and then people are like, where'd they go? And I'm like, sorry, man, like I just did too many at once, and I need that variety, or I go literally crazy. Like I can't wake up being like, this is the same thing, new day. I like waking up and being like, oh, I have no fucking clue what's going on today, something new, and it's exciting every time because of that. But
nice, man,
bringing people over to Twitch though is fucking tough. That is one of the hardest conversions I have ever. Yeah, that is like I've converted, to all my socials, to Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff.
But Twitch, and
Twitch is the hardest conversion I've ever had to do for anything.
Interesting.
It's insane. It's really different audiences. Like there's very little overlap. Like you watch YouTube, you probably have an Instagram, you probably have a Twitter, you probably have a Facebook, you probably have all that stuff. You watch YouTube, a lot of people don't have Twitch channels, and vice versa, right? Like you're on Twitch.
True. Yeah.
A lot of people don't watch YouTube, and it's like, damn,
it's crazy, right? But I do understand it because I will watch a Nik Nocturnal YouTube video, but I will rarely have the time to spend like more than 15 minutes on your stream.
Yeah,
it does exist. I do understand. It's interesting. Yeah,
it's a tough conversion, and like I'm lucky that I've built up the amount I have. Like I'm pretty fucking fortunate, but it's like that was me every reaction video saying, hey guys, I'm streaming on Twitch right after this video is uploaded. So it's like I'm basically uploading YouTube video and telling you I am literally live
on Twitch
while you're watching this.
Great
if you want to come after.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the best way I could ever think of trying to converting it. Even that, it's like, Jesus, is it ever tough?
I get that. Do you? I remember you streaming on YouTube as well.
Yes.
When you were streaming yourself figuring out the songs. And I'm wondering, why would you choose Twitch over YouTube? It is an
copyright.
Interesting. Oh,
yeah. Basically, that was it. So like, I would do it on YouTube, and it was fun. That's because I had the dilemma when I started. Like, I actually could have started streaming Twitch like 3 years ago,
right?
Because that's kind of, and I probably should have at that point as like an extra thing of content, but who knows, right? But regardless, on YouTube, what I noticed was like I would do a stream and sometimes like, you get the copyright and that's fine. But specifically when I was doing Trivium, covering the whole new Trivium album, right? That was like a whole event. I planned it and I was going to stream it on YouTube. I got blocked during the stream.
Oh.
And I was like, this is BS. I just told everyone in chat, let's go to Twitch right now. Like, let's just finish this off in Twitch. So I went live on Twitch. And that experience, first of all, it felt more freeing because the copyright wasn't as crazy there on Twitch during that time. And so I could actually finish it. But in general, it's just like the environment. Like the environment's different. Everyone on that website is watching people live, right? It's more of that community. Or not, well, YouTube has community too, but I feel like Twitch is more like, you're talking to the person.
They're
right?
used to interacting.
It's like, more of an interactive community, maybe, right? So that feeling, even just during that stream, I was like, this is like good. Like this is just like kind of, I'm still streaming the same thing, like I literally was just doing this, but it's like, it feels different, right? Something about it just felt different. And I liked it so much. And I was like, well, I don't want to deal with shit getting blocked anyways. And this seems really fun. The problem is, and why I started you stream on YouTube first, my audience was the whole thing. I was like, well, I'm going to do that. That makes way more sense. Like, but I was like, all right, like I want to try this and build it. And I've just done that ever since. But even now, like, even getting like 200 concurrent viewers on Twitch, like I know if I probably streamed on YouTube, that would probably be like 1,000 plus in terms of just
interesting,
relations to the to just numbers, right? So I know I could get way more numbers on YouTube streaming, but dealing with those issues and even just the vibe again on Twitch, like I just took the hard route and started the grind on Twitch, and also it gave me a bit of a just versatility of like
you diversified.
Diversify. YouTube blows up one day. Fuck do I do, right? Well, at least now I can be like, hey guys, I'm a full-time Twitch streamer.
Google doesn't own Twitch. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I kept doing it, but it's been really fun, man. It's cool. It's an experience. It's tough though, but it's fun.
Yeah, man. That's also a point that's on every single episode. If you're enjoying doing it, you just will do it and reach any result.
Dude, that's why I did covers for 4 years without basic,
Because you
why.
enjoy them.
It was fun, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Cool. So 6-7 years, a very, very big journey, but it's still so cool. And I get to this myself, that you spend this amount of time playing music by your favorite artists, and like paying your homage to them with the covers. And you're now at the point where artists actually come to you for what you've built to share their own music. Like, how does that feel, actually?
Super fucking weird, man.
Surreal.
It's surreal because it's a mix of, in general, I guess, getting bigger in size or whatever, and people knowing the channel, and musicians knowing it, but also just that it's a bit more like acceptable and intertwined with the music world, especially now because all the musicians that can't tour basically went to Twitch, right? They kind of joined that world, which again, that's our world, and it's cool seeing them come over there. And then also with labels being like, well, we can't promote our bands on tour. hit up these dudes to do reaction. Let's hit up the YouTubers, right? And do reactions and covers. So like, again, when I was doing this for just covers for all those years, like that was not a thing. There is the YouTubers and then there's the actual musicians.
Yes.
Like there was that disconnect, very obvious, right? Whereas now it's like, you'll get hit up by musicians, like they'll watch the reaction videos. You get hit up by labels to be like, hey dude, like we got a new this track that we know you like, can you do it for us? We'll give you the video a little bit early so you have time to do it and all that. And it's like I think a lot of people who do reactions now take that for granted because that shit did not exist. No, that did not exist anywhere near what it is now.
Yeah.
There's not happening.
It
right?
is cool because you can say that because you are on the cutting edge, and this is where like getting to talk to you and do a podcast episode is so valuable for everyone listening because you are on the cutting edge where content creators start to get the same level of like importance as respect as the musicians. Not saying it in a nasty like we're the underdog way, but you do know. I remember as a content creator being so happy when I saw that Nik Nocturnal is endorsed by Ernie Ball.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, this is it. This is content creators getting to that spot. I don't even know how to word it better. Like we do have a lot of community, a lot of value built up from all that we've given to the community. And here's that being the most important thing is that it's realized by us and that we understand our potential. But actually seeing the public and brands actually acknowledge that is where you're at a tipping point. I find that super interesting.
Because I understand both sides, but like I get why it's happening because like these people are starting, these businesses in general, like, and as well as labels in the industry is like, well, these dudes are getting like 100,000 views, sometimes on their videos. Like that's like maybe 100,000 people, maybe, 70,000, whatever, based on how many people click it again, right? That's a lot of people. If a band goes on tour, they even pretty decent like mid-sized bands don't always sum up even playing in front of that many people, over a whole tour. And these dudes are doing it sometimes with one video. So it's like we throw them that guitar, right? Sometimes, or we throw them the string or something to endorse or a product to showcase. Like that audience is all there and it's there right now and they're at home and they can hit the buy button, things like that, right? So they start to realize like, oh, like this is like a really good place to showcase stuff, to endorse people and show that love and share this stuff and actually embrace, because that's even now with just internet culture in general, like that's where people are. Like they're on YouTube, they're on Twitch, they're on TikTok, they're that's what's happening. So, it's just simple that where the people are is to businesses what money is, so businesses will go where the people are. They'll go where money is. And they're like, oh, well, it's on the internet. Okay. And they kind of just go to that. And that's where it's been, again, very recently. Like that is not something that has been around for a while, other than like sponsor deals for like YouTubers have been around for a long time. But like for the music side, even specifically, or like endorsements to YouTubers and like labels, supporting YouTubers and stuff like that has not been around. That is very, very new. And trust me, people do not take that for granted because you are very lucky to come out in this time when that's happening. And you actually like have that kind of respect from the industry, basically.
Yeah, it really shows to how many people we can touch. As soon as there's this funny thing when a brand gets on a meme, it's because the meme's dead. Because when brands start to do memes and you're like, yeah, that meme's gone. So on the positive side, it means that when brands start to acknowledge all the people that us content creators and the listener content creators really can reach, if we got to the point where brands recognize that, it is well established by now that we are where people are.
Oh yeah, we're where their audience is too. So like, why run from where some of your audience is, or even another part of your audience that you haven't even discovered yet? Like just go there. Why not? And it's usually a win-win-win. It depends on the case, but usually it's like, even if a brand hits you up, hey, do a sponsor video, it's usually a product or service that, you actually like, hopefully. Like that's basically my cutoff. I have to make sure that people will actually like it and that I actually like it. Because if not, then like, what's the point? I'm just, doing an ad basically for the sake of an ad. But even that, I make sure if I like it, I have fun doing it, doing the video up. The audience will like it. Some people will actually be like, oh, wow, that's actually a really cool thing. I want to use that. Then I make money from the business, or, the YouTuber makes money then from the business that hits them up to do the ad. The ad company or the business makes money because, well, they get sales and the consumer gets something new.
Product. Yeah.
Yeah. And then sometimes I know the consumer's like, well, fuck the 30-second ad or a minute. I get it. Hey, dude, I have ad block. Like, just like most people, if you don't want to see ads, I completely understand that. When it's in a video, you're like, oh, this new video just came out. I just want to see the video. And then the first thing you see is that 30-second ad. Yo, I get it, fam. It's like, but at the same time, it's like, it's 30 seconds so that, dude can get paid, can invest maybe more into what he's doing. And you might actually find something you like sometimes, right? As long as it's not oversaturated, which I get can be so annoying.
Of course.
It's, it's usually a win-win-win. And I'm lucky I've gotten, I guess, my audience to that point where, like, I'll do an ad and they'll be like, yeah, Nick, get paid. It's more like that, like, supportive, like, transparent thing where it's like, yeah, guys, obviously getting paid for doing this. Dude, get paid because we want you to upgrade your fucking shitty camera. Things like that.
If anything. But yeah, that makes complete sense. And I think the key word there that you nailed on is transparency.
Oh,
because it just literally has to be there. And that's been my motto. And from what I get, your motto from day one is that if you are absolutely 100% clear with what you're getting out of stuff, even if it's an ad from an audience, there is no one you're fooling. It's just, that is what it is. And if someone really, really gets as disturbed as some people sometimes claim to be, they leave. Because they're anyway not the kind of people that you would want watching your content. If an ad scares them away, please. I mean,
no, yeah, man. And transparency is so important. Just being honest, and hopefully people can see that in my videos. I'm just like, I'm me. Like, whether I'm going ham and enjoying a breakdown, or like I'm doing stupid shit, or I can barely speak English, that's just because I'm illiterate, and I like,
and because you really enjoy that one breakdown.
Yeah, I'm just having fun. So hopefully people enjoy that and can relate to it. And people who don't, that's fine. I mean, I can't make you like me. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like me, that's, hey man, understandable. Like,
it is.
It's just me, but I can't change that.
I cannot change. You're the one who clicked on the video. Thank you for giving me a chance. But it's true. That is the attitude. Thank you for giving me a chance, actually.
Exactly. That's important.
Cool, man. Yeah. So we've been talking about all the kinds of content that you've been doing. And right now, the main Nik Nocturnal vehicle, besides streaming, is you do a lot of reaction videos.
Yeah.
A lot of reaction videos. And it's cool because some of my viewers will think, oh, no, he's about to go get him with it. But no, never. It's never in that sense. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I know, dude.
Yeah. And the fact that he knows just proves it. So me, myself, I have, of course, been, and my audience knows this, critical of reaction content. But not only on the creator side, for reasons that I don't think really apply to you, but a lot on the consumer side. Because my argument usually is, it ties in actually with the pre-launch hype and then post-launch not doing anything that I told you before, where you, a consumer that's watching and consuming reaction videos, puts so much emphasis on what is the first reaction of someone to a song.
Yeah.
And even if it were their own reaction, that could be dangerous. Because what happens to the next 50 years of your life that you have to listen to that song? How many times have we told the story of a song that we did not like at first, and that then grew on us? It's interesting that if when people get into this culture of really, really valuing first impressions to such a big extent, it can kill the enjoyment that you might derive from letting that piece sit in your mind, listening to it on a different day, listening to it 5 years from now when you experience something that the lyrics talk about. I always find that a very, very interesting consideration for people to at least think about when they're watching a reaction video. Because if you don't consider that, I find that, and I've seen a few of my friends take reactions as the be-all, end-all of interpreting an art piece.
Yeah.
And I think that can be dangerous. What do you have any thoughts on this, actually? Because you create a lot of that content.
Oh, dude, I agree. And that's why, even tying to the transparency thing, I'm like, guys, like, especially when I don't like something, I'm like, guys, like, think for yourselves. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
okay for you to like it.
Yeah, like, if you like it, like, I want you to comment and explain to me why you like it. That's really it. You know, like, this isn't like I just like this and that's it. Like, it's bad. No, it's like, it wasn't for me. And that's usually the term I use.
That's good.
It's not for me, right? Because I feel like that kind of says that in a way, right? Like, think for yourself. This isn't personally for me. Maybe it'll be for you, right? And I'll explain the reasons why it's not for me, and that's kind of it sometimes. But no, I completely agree, and I do think people just think for yourselves, right? Like, in that sense, like, a reaction, and even when I saw them at first, like, I didn't really understand, like, why are people doing this? Watching somebody watch something, and I get it now. It's the same sense you get when you are like, you have a buddy, and you're like, dude, this new song came out. Check, there you go. That's that exact emotion and that feeling right there. That is it. And I understood that. I was like, okay, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But even with that, it's just very important, you know. If I don't like something, I am like, no, guys, tell me why you like it. And the thing because I've done that for so long, I think I always see people in the comments who are like, well, Nick, I actually did really like this song, but you know, they're not aggressive, which I really enjoy. And I see that on some people where it's like, when they have a different opinion, it's always like aggressive,
right?
It's like, oh, you don't like this? Well, f you, because I really like it, or I like this and the other person didn't. It's like, dude, this is fucking garbage. It's like, usually I'll just see people in the comments, because I've been doing it that way for so long. They're just like, no, actually, I actually like this quite a bit, and they'll explain why, and I'll be like, that's great. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad, you know, that worked for you, because in general, anyone that likes more music just makes their life better. You know, like, like, if you have another song to add to your repertoire, that's awesome, right? But I'm still going to do my video, and in terms of, like, say my feelings, even though you're right, that first listen, sometimes it changes, right? And that's true. It's that first listen. There's been songs where I react to a song and be like, and later I listen to it, I'm like, fuck, this is good.
Yeah.
Right? So I'd feel bad even if people are like, but you didn't say you like this as much. And also, like, that's why I never, like, bother to check out. I'd be like, fuck, no. Like,
right.
Give it, always give it a chance. But yeah, reaction content in itself is, it's weird because it's the new meta, I'd say, and it's just it's saturated. Like, me as a dude, again, coming from guitar covers, a thing which you had to play guitar at least, you know, to do a video, right? You at least had to have that as an entry or to barrier. And you know, reactions, like, you just have to have a phone, like, that's it. You just have to have something to record yourself. And you can put yourself on, which it's weird because I do appreciate that, where it allows more people to be creative and you know, have the spotlight that otherwise maybe wouldn't have, because they don't play an instrument, right? But they still have a really cool differing perspective on things that adds a lot of value to that scene. But at the same time, there's also a lot where it's kind of just like, they're just doing it. And maybe they think, oh, you know, I want to just be a famous YouTuber that's super rich and has all the Ferraris and mansions and shit. Or sometimes they're just like, well, I just want, you know, the attention or whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's like, and man, it's very oversaturated. And, you know, I do them specifically because it started with songs that actually I wanted to listen to and want to share with my community.
Okay.
That I knew probably wouldn't have guitar in it. Right.
So you couldn't do content because it was covered. Yeah.
I couldn't do a guitar cover. So I was like, well, I still want to do something with this, you know, so what do I do? So, and the first one was actually, if you know Alex from ex-Chelsea Grin, he left and then he did like this trap thing. And I was like, well, I'm really excited to check this out because, I mean, it's a deathcore dude doing trap, right? But I was like, well, it's trap. It's not going to be guitar. So I was like, what do I do? So I did reaction. That was my first reaction.
That's a good
ever.
origin story. Yeah.
Yeah, and people seem to really like it. And I was like, why? This took me 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
this took me 5 minutes and it's here. Like, why is this, doing so well? And then you do more and more and more. I had for the same reason, right? It would be more post-hardcore bands that I would do like the reaction for instead of like a guitar cover. And people just seem to like it more. And plus, it was a lot less just work. And then plus tying that in with me doing guitar covers for literally 4 years, 5 years
Finally
straight.
having something to rotate to.
Yeah, and I was like, well, it kind of started to lean more to that because it was me being able to get to all this music coming out, especially nowadays. Like 21 is it's too much. Like what?
It's been
dude,
a great
like,
year.
Stop. Just it's been a great year, but also stop. Like
Right.
I can't.
I'm gonna have
It's
to go
too
back
much.
to covers, dude.
Where it's like I'm able to actually get to way more content because of it. Also, I'm able to share more content with my community.
Yeah.
Also, it does better in general than
You
if I was to
grow
do for
more.
a cover for the
Yeah.
same thing. Also, it's easier to do. And it's like, by logical standard, it's like, it's almost stupid of me sometimes to be like, well, do I do a cover reaction in terms of weighing the, pros and cons? But at the same time, I'm like, there's something special to me about guitar covers, which I'll always go back to and be like,
Of course.
man, like that's so special, even though it's not the thing now, they still do, like you're doing them obviously in Robin, but it's like, and I'll still do them here and there, but it's like, fuck, man, like I always want to do them because the guitarist in me is like, man,
I want
that
to
riff
play
is
the
sick.
song. Yeah.
I want to, I want to do it for me,
There
right?
you
Whereas
go.
like I know when the reactions, they're still for me because they're still fun to do. And in general, I just like sharing music with my community. And that's
Nice.
really, it doesn't, to me is like, do I do it through a cover reaction? That point, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. But then when it comes to, again, how do I do it? Fuck, man. Like I wish I could do guitar covers for all of them and
No,
do
yeah.
that. But I can't, especially with all the other content I also throw in and all Twitch streaming and all that. So it's like, it's kind of bittersweet because I'm
see.
sad that I can't do it as much. And I see people like, again, you and Rob, and you guys you're still like the purists. And I'm like, guys, like, yes, they're still pure, right? They didn't get corrupted by the reactions.
Oh my.
Like, y'all are still pure doing that. And it brings me
Pure?
happiness. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny, and that kind of shows because there's always this thing, especially I see it especially amongst musicians. I'm classically educated. I went to university with people that are there to play the hard contemporary classical stuff,
Right.
And with people that play metal. So I can say musicians kind of comfortably, where you kind of always devalue the easier thing. We tend to,
Yes.
we tend to do that, don't we?
Well, that's the same. I think that's the same thing that mirrors the concept of musicians, how they looked at YouTube before, because they would see kids doing guitar covers and being like, what the fuck? Why is this doing so well versus me on the road?
Literally recorded the whole song.
Yeah. Or even, they'll see a kid on YouTube who did like a 3-second meme and that will get like millions of views and get all this attention. And they'll be like, rightfully so, right? Like,
Yeah.
why? It's like, and that mentality of talent, the more talented thing deserves more benefit, right? Like, and I completely understand that mindset. And I definitely used to have that mindset. And it definitely mirrors to me thinking in terms of like, do I do a guitar cover versus do I do a reaction,
It's
right?
still
Even though
there.
I love them both, it's like, well, that one's easier. Like, should I take the easy way out? But then it's the different perspective that I, developed as well. It's like, why am I not giving people what they want? You know what I mean? Like just because of me, like that's me being sometimes just like ignorant or just like
Even
egotistical.
selfish. Yeah.
Selfish. It's like, yeah, if like a song comes out, like let's say a Bring Me song came out, right?
Yeah.
People, that's the thing. I know they prefer the reaction than the cover. And I'm like, but the cover, will like showcase more maybe talent, right? In a way. And it's like, if I did that cover, it comes down to like, I'd literally be doing it for like just selfish reasons. Cause I know I still get I still like doing both,
Yeah.
but I know people like the other one much more. So it's like, I would just do it for selfish reasons. And sometimes I'll do it just really to be selfish. But at the same time, it's like, why? Why fight it? It's the way things are. I'm not just going to go against it to make some kind of stupid fucking point. I'm just going to do it and I'm going to enjoy it. And if I ever don't want to do it, then I won't do it. I won't do reactions if I ever get sick of them.
Yeah.
And I'll do covers maybe instead. But that's why I've kept them both intertwined. But I have definitely done way more reactions recently than covers for all those reasons. And like I said, seeing you guys do it, and do the covers so pure. It's like, damn, man, like you guys are. That's tough, man. That's a tough thing to do because I know that grind because I know how long it takes you to do those videos, especially you. You're fucking recording everything. I just did the guitar. I took the easy way out, right? You're doing everything. And I'm like, Jesus, man, like that probably took him like 2 days. And like this reaction video took me like 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, shit, man. But that's, again, seeing that and what people want, like just go with it and whatnot. But the thing I'll definitely give huge benefit to is that you're definitely able to monetize your covers way more than I can monetize a reaction video.
Yeah.
Because it's tabs and stems and all that through Patreon or what. And plus you get the AdSense and all that. So
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I love sometimes it's like I guess. So like even seeing that, like that's genius. And I love that you're able to do that in such like that pure form, but still gain those other benefits that, you know, people that can't do that or aren't doing it in that pure form can, you know, you can get that instead, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, it's cool. It does work. What I very much liked about what you said is a balance that I think everyone, musician, content creator, someone working a job for a boss, everyone needs to always balance in their life, which is what you want to do and what someone wants you to do. There is always that balance. And let's be honest, as YouTubers, as people who do videos on the internet for a living, we get to match both at the same time pretty often. Like what we want to do is what people want to see, which is a blessing that we've worked hard to get, but is a blessing. And it's very cool. And for me personally, I hope for the audience too, very enlightening to see how you yourself try to navigate that in terms of the content that you want to make and the content that people want to watch and what it looks like in your mind when you're trying to decide. Sometimes it's not even between the two. It's just how you can have both at the same time.
Yeah, Gojira, I'm like, they want both. So I did a reaction, I did a cover.
And you cover the song, for example.
I do both, and it's like, you know what? And it's so much tougher for me to do both instead of just pick one or the other. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to appease both worlds right now. I'm just going to go with it, and it's way more work. And same thing, Gojira comes out this day. I have to do 2 videos in one day for it. And then, it's Friday. A million other bands also came out. And, you know, it's like, what do you do? And that's why it's like, hey, man, it's tough. And even now, like, I'm behind. Like, today, I'm doing Black Veil Brides, which came out Friday. You know what I mean? Like, even just keeping up with the flow of the current stuff with the reactions is like, there's only so much I can do, you know, as a person. And back in the day, that was easier. It would just be, I'd be waiting for new music to come out, right?
Yeah, 2021 does not have us waiting.
Dude, I know.
We're trying to catch up, aren't we?
Dude, even like, I see your covers and I'm like, dude, like, I know you even are like, hell, are you serious? Like Veil, are you kidding me? Era, you know, it's like all these,
right?
It's like, are you serious right now? Like all this music, and plus, I'm sure your fans are also saying, dude, do this, and you're like, dude, I'm still doing the last one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I can't. It's. I've never seen this much music in my entire career come out than this year so far. It's.
I think
crazy,
people
man.
Are dropping all that they've sat on during the pandemic, man.
Yeah,
it must be. It just must be. And then all the labels point them to the same date because they always do that instead of trying to like every single label decide, okay, we are all going to do that in the Q2 of the year.
Dude, but that's the thing. There's no free weekends. Like even when we were releasing Termina, like
you were trying to find one out, right?
I spent a lot of time researching all the Edge of Time, that last single, basically. I was like, okay, I forgot when it came. I think it came out like March 18th or something. And I was like, okay, I did all the research. There's nothing coming out here. I know Ira comes out the day after, which, okay, fine. It's the Era album, which is definitely something, but like, it's not going to like delete Termina, right? So, and dude, during that week, I can't even tell you. Monday, new Born of Osiris coming out Friday. Okay.
Cool.
Tuesday, new Northlane's coming out Friday.
I see.
Okay. New While She Sleeps track just dropped,
nice.
Dude. And it's like, I couldn't even, by the time that came out Friday, we did a like Twitch stream after the song came out. There was 30 new big songs that came out, including like, and I was like, I can't even,
30.
right? Dude, it was insane. We spent, because that's usually what we do on Fridays, like check out all the new music, because that's literally, it's catch up day
Friday.
for me.
Yeah.
I have to, right?
Yeah.
So I remember that stream was 2 hours of just new music, of the songs released that day,
Like
that week.
back to back.
Back to back.
It was 2
dude.
hours of music.
It was 2 hours of new music, and I couldn't even believe it. I was like, of course, TERMINA, and then even the album, which we actually got a little luckier, I think, compared like the 9th,
Right.
and it was still busy. There's no time, there's no spaces, so these labels are just like, fuck it. I don't care that this is being thrown in with Gojira. I don't care this is being thrown in with Era at this point. Just get it out. That's all we can do. It's insane, man.
It's interesting, man. I've never. Here's a fun question. Why do you think Friday? Do you have any clue?
Yes, a few reasons. Playlisting in general, because I actually want to search playlisting. It's just kind of, I feel like it's just a date people had set kind of a precedent for, and then everything around the music industry has started to revolve around it, if that makes sense. So like playlisting as well as charting, right? The charting usually starts, from what I've heard, on Friday. So if you release a song on Thursday, you only get 1 day. Yeah.
Wow.
Things like that.
All right.
So it's weird. It's very weird. As well as just play like Spotify playlists and stuff. They usually reset on Fridays.
Okay.
Right. So they're going to get all the songs that come out on Friday because they know. So if your song just came out, if your song comes out on Saturday, you're fucked because they already did that week's playlisting basically. You know what I mean? So it's like the chances of, no, next Friday there's going to be new stuff. You're not going to get your stuff that's now old because it came out on Saturday. Right. So it just revolves, I think, around a lot of that, as well as maybe considering that like people usually get paid on Thursdays or something like that. So it's like they got the budget they want to put in right before the song comes in, or pre-order the song or listen to it at midnight and stuff. Yeah. I'm assuming,
or maybe they want in the weekend they have time to listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That too. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that is the reasoning why. And it's just every Friday. I've just been getting pounded, dude. I've been getting pounded every Friday. Like, I don't know about you, but like, I can't keep up. I literally cannot keep up. I've like this Friday, I know while she sleeps, I know there's a million other things coming out, and Friday's going to come and I'm going to be like, you get what you get. I'm going to pick one of the million songs that come out, and that's all I can do, guys,
It is pretty crazy. Well, for one, I think it's interesting that we just dissected New Music Friday, because I didn't get it at all, and now I think I get it. It actually does have some logic behind it, and that we also learned that at the end of the day, we gotta be okay with letting a few go. We can't be on everything,
and I think that's where we can relate to, even though we never talked about it, is I think we're both yes men, right? We're both like new song, new opportunity, right? That kind of feeling where it's like, gotta do it, right? There's no, I don't feel it today. No, it's like fucking Veil came out, Era came out today. You are doing it. You know what I mean? It's just, it's in our brains, right? It's kind of hardwired. And that's been the hardest thing for me to adapt, is not being a yes man. Cause I can't say yes to 20 new songs that came out in the same day. You know what I mean? Like, you can't. And even you, I know you're super fast. And even seeing you, like, I can see you're like lagging sometimes with the releases, cause I know you're still just trying to catch up like I am.
Yeah. And just being comfortable with knowing which ones you like the most and just going for those. Which, at the end of the day, it's about the music that we like, man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. It's always been the music like, and then also the opportunities, right? Where it's like one where it's like, maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. But you like, well, this is huge, right? So it's like, well, yeah, let's, throw it on. Like, whether it be even like Architects or some things like that, right? It's like, new Architects come, or new Bring Me is a great example. I know when a Bring Me song comes out, it's a video. You know what I mean? Like,
do content over it,
It is no matter what. I'm still stoked to check it out no matter what, because it's Bring Me and they're always doing cool stuff. But I know that I will drop everything that day that I otherwise probably planned to do, and it's Bring Me Day. That's what I'll call it. It's Bring Me Day, guys.
Cool.
They dropped the song. It's their day. That's it. Go in, reaction. I know it's what has to be done, that kind of mindset. But even now, man, like so many bands, with even Era, the whole album was so good. Yeah. And I could only get to a select few, and it's like, there's too much music. What do you want?
Yeah. It's cool, man. We've been blessed as content creators and as lovers of music, because it's good music. A lot of good music, man.
There's a lot, dude. Jesus Christ.
It's so cool. I guess we can finish out with just asking, what's the music that's like been inspiring you recently? Even like, do you have inspirations for? Terminus sounds very original, but I'm wondering if you
Thank
have like inspirations that you can pinpoint for a sound like that.
Oh yeah. So modern metal in general, and actually I go when I make demos and I make the demo names, I always say like usually sometimes the bands that are kind of like that go to feel, right? Without obviously being a copy paste.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
for example, these might surprise some of these people. The Abyss was called Architect's Demo.
Interesting. Yeah. I hear it.
Because the intro riff, with like the octaves and stuff like that, literally called
That's
it that.
cool.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. The Edge of Time was called Loathe Demo.
Oh, there's a bit of that in there. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And when you take it in perspective, you're like, oh yeah, there's stuff like that in there.
Yeah.
Blood Echo on the album, which was actually called Spirit Box Demo.
I see.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love Andy rapping on that one. I think
Dude,
that's a
so
moment.
cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, but a lot of modern metal essentially is just what I like. Like I don't really listen to just deathcore, metalcore, all this. I like all of it, you know, like Brand of Sacrifice was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Spirit Box obviously is great. Darko, I've been loving Darko. They've been great.
Yeah.
Darko is super sick, as well as, Loathe and stuff like that. Like the dude's taking that very modern sound with the low tune stuff, but are emphasizing groove, heaviness, but melody, in all forms. Like they'll have the heaviest breakdown ever, but then they'll also have the most ethereal, chill part that just brings feels. You know what I mean? So I love that spectrum, and I love bands that do that spectrum. So that's mainly kind of what I've been listening to a lot of lately. And that's basically what I would describe as Termina, is like this overarching like modern metal. Like it's not like a new genre or anything. People have been doing that for a while now, but it's like that's what I would call it as a genre. So a lot of people have been saying like progressive metalcore as well, which sure, I guess kind of entails somewhat of the same thing.
Yeah, labeling genres kind of sucks. I don't know if you relate to this.
Yes.
But it kind of sucks when people say, "Oh, what is this? Is this progressive post gent metalcore samba?" And you're like, "It's music. Do you like it? Do you not like it?" That's the point. Is if you like it or you don't like it. It's weird.
Yeah. It's weird, and that's why, like I said, we're just modern metalcore. And or modern metal. It's so funny even when you're submitting for like Spotify playlisting, and they're like,
"Tell me about it." Yeah.
What genres are you? And I'm like,
"Bruh, everything, but nothing."
Like these, like I and that's the funniest part is like with Termina, even with the singles, like we got playlisted on the weirdest shit. Like we got the core playlist with I think Lucid or something, which was cool. Like, okay, we're here for that. Then Desolate Spectre, we got the deathcore playlist, and we're like,
okay,
we aren't a deathcore band, but okay.
But if you listen to the song, it fits in the playlist.
It'll fit, yeah. And the funniest one, which is the most recent one, we got Fade Away in the prog metal playlist, and I was laughing so hard.
Of course.
Was like,
yeah,
like
it makes sense why one would be.
Yeah,
because again, these labels kind of suck. Because prog metal, if you tell me you're on the prog metal playlist, and I imagine Fade Away into Dream Theater, I'm like,
yeah, exactly. Like it's like, huh?
Yeah, but if you look at prog metal as words, not as the genre that we picture it as, it's just metal that has a few progressive elements, maybe in technicality of the guitar.
Yeah,
in that sense, you can put that song in there. It's a metal song that has progressive technical elements on the guitar.
Exactly.
But if you use it as a label, you're like Dream Theater. And then you're why is my song in there?
Well, it's so weird. And even Moribund on the album, like we could have, I was thinking even actually of submitting that for playlisting because you can only choose one from the album, but we went with Fade Away. I was going to be like, fucking, well, here's a rock playlisting. Why not? Like let's go for it at this point. Why not? Just see if we can get on the rock charts after also having a track on the deathcore playlist. And I was, it's weird, man. But I personally love that infusion because I listen to a lot of different stuff. So does Andy. I think so do a lot of people nowadays, right? You still see the elitist thing like, this isn't fucking deathcore. I hate this. This is clean vocals. Go die. Like And you also see the other spectrum, like, there was they did a RAR, that's too heavy.
I don't really like the scream part. Yeah.
Yeah, the scream part. So it's like I like that it's just intertwining more and more, and that's what Termina basically is, and even stylistically what I try to just what I play and what I try to do nowadays, because it's fun and you have more variety. If you're deathcore, it's really hard to just do deathcore better than everyone else. Like Brand of Sacrifice did it. That's not fucking easy.
No.
Like they went in there and they slayed. They made an amazing deathcore album.
Mm-hmm.
But to do that it's so hard, instead of just having the freedom to be like, here's a chill track.
Here's a clean part, yeah.
Yeah, here's a clean part. It's like, oh, we can do that. And people won't get mad and call us sellouts instantly because we still have the deathcore side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, man. Genres kind of suck, man. But music does not suck.
Music does not suck. Music's good.
We're going to finish out Music Does Not Suck. So, Nick, thank you so much for coming on the Metal Intent. I mean, YouTube, Twitch, where do people go?
I'm plaguing all over the internet. Don't worry. You'll just Nik Nocturnal. You'll see my dumbass face.
If you
somewhere,
can't find me, I'm not doing my job. That's what you're going to say.
He said, there you go.
All right, my man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Dude, yeah, thanks for having me. It was awesome.